How did we get here as a nation? I just need your thoughts in about a minute.
How did we get here? It's been a long journey, but I think when you mean how do we get here, like how are we like this right now as a nation? We are 62. At least a 62-year-old person should have advanced in wisdom, in age, and in all that. But I think we just got it wrong. Or, you know how they say that when a blind man is leading people, you lead them into a ditch. I think we've just had blind leaders or selfish leaders that have done a lot of mismanagement. They don't have an idea of how to drive the country to where it's supposed to be. And right now, we're just trying to see how we can make it all right.
Okay, Pastor OJ, what do you think? Our values. What do you have to say about our values?
Okay, when you talk about values, values are the ethos or the characteristic culture, ways of life, standards, morals, norms that are unwritten, which everybody is supposed to internalize or memorize, that controls our way of life, that controls every department of the things we do as humans. Those are values. And in Nigeria, culturally, we had values. We value hard work. We value people that attain heights through schools, education. In those days, if your father is a headmaster, you feel proud of him. If your son gets admission to the university, the whole town knows about it. People that do hard work are the people that are valued. But if we're going to what is happening now, you know, in those days, names of families are respected. If you go to anywhere, they will ask you, who is your father? Who are your parents? They know families in different places. They are being respected. I remember as a young boy in those days, when we were going somewhere, when we were about 16, 17, that time, this bagging, there is one labu, they call it labu, was raining. So I was putting one with two of my friends. Incidentally, one of them, the father is late. The other one, the father is far in Lagos. So as we walk to a place, it's like from here to a fruit junction. They call it the garage in my town. One of my father's friends saw me. He just stopped his bicycle and said, come. Do you know who is your father? And you are following this people. Oh yeah. As I'm going now, you go. I was running in front. He was riding his bicycle. I was running to the house. Those are the values in those days. Everyone is responsible for the upbringing of the children, looking forward to greater people in the society. But now, it's different. Our values have eroded.
Okay, so if I get you right, back then, the community trained the child. It was everybody's responsibility to shape behavior. Then you said something critical again, hard work. That your father was a headmaster, who respected you and all that. So that brings me to this. In Nigeria right now, there is a common saying that school is a scam. And a lot of people actually believe it. The other day there was a radio program going on and one young man actually spoke in and justified why he felt school is a scam. So James, I know we've been having conversations on this and you're very frustrated about the young Nigerian and how they've been treated. Let me hear your thoughts.
So first off, for anyone who has the thought that school is a scam, they need to change their mind. School itself is not a scam. We all need to be educated at one point in time. And so one of the reasons why people claim that school is a scam is because back in the days, what we knew school to be is when you are done with school, there's a kind of job waiting for you. There is a prestige that comes with you saying you're a graduate. There is a honor that comes with being a graduate. But these days, we see people who graduate and then they stay at home for years. There's nothing tangible that they're doing. And so when people coming ahead see those ones and they ask ourselves, okay, if I go to school and I come out, this is how I'll become. And so because of that reason, they don't see school as where they want to go to. And so the stress is everywhere and these thoughts are there. But the point is, we cannot take away the fact that school is very essential. And yes, there is frustration in the land, and that's only to the fact that people have found different ways to be successful, in quotes. And because people are making money, people are living the luxurious life without actually going to school, it seems to be justifying those concepts. And then when you even look at the school itself, when you go to the school, what are they even teaching us? What is the knowledge you are learning? Is it applicable to the current trends? These are the things that the student look out for. The facilities you are seeing there, is it conducive enough for you to even learn? And so when you see the stress involved, that's why one of my lecturers back in the days would tell us that she's considerate for students, because the condition they put you through to get results is not even what others outside the country are facing. First off, you have to pay for textbooks. You have to go and research without a proper library, and they expect you to pass. They expect you to come out with a good result. And then when you even go to the job, you want to apply, they tell you they need 6 years experience. And you just graduated. How did they expect you to get 6 years experience? So all of those things, because we have a faulty system, is making us now blame the school rather than blaming the system that is bad. So school in itself is a good place to go. But when you look at our system that we have, it doesn't justify the fact of we going to school. And so we need to still come back to a point where we need a system that works. So when people go to school, they see it as a thing of pride. When I come out and tell my friends that I'm a graduate, they should celebrate me. Rather than looking at me like, you go school, I beg you, what do you want to do with them? I've seen people like that ask me, you that you have gone to school, what are you doing with the school certificate? And I'm like, truly, I'm not working with the certificate, but that doesn't change the fact that we need to go to school.
All right, so perfect, James. Now, well, and multimedia are going to play a clip shortly. Just hold on. Let me go to Williams first. Now, Williams, we discussed, and by the way, Williams made a first class from PTI.
That's what we're talking about. So
yeah. So I'm coming somewhere. Now, when we discussed, I asked about benefits, the gifts and prizes and all that, and I heard some of those things. You said 100,000 in some departments and all that, and I'm wondering if we as a nation and we as a people give a priority to education, how do we give winners of shows, reality shows, 7 million, 10 million, 20 million, 30 million, and then we give a first class graduate 100,000 naira? That's part of the problem. So let me hear your frustrations as a student. What do you think about this?
Everybody. Back then in school, you usually have this thought that when you go to school, there will be this dream job that will be given to you that you are going to get. But on the line, I discovered that there's more to that. Not just going to school, get the grades. Because the country has come this far that the system has been corrupted, and what happened in the past, where jobs are given to students who do well in school, especially the top class students, is no longer more. It's no longer in the system. So I'm one of those persons that is being frustrated by the Nigeria system. I graduated in the first class, hoping to get something nice. Imagine after being the best or being part of the best, and after school, there's nothing to write home about. That's part of the frustration we face. I face. Now, you see, but if you take this to the secular world, where you have people who have talents and giftings, you see, they are celebrated even on just small achievements they get. They are celebrated. They are given these top-notch regards. But concerning students who come out with top class, especially in academics, they are not given this regard. So this is one of the frustrations we all as top class students face. Now, apart from that, my advice I'm going to give to students, people who want to go to school, university precisely, I would say discover yourself first before you go to school. Know yourself very well. Know your potentials. Know your giftings. Know your talents. Build competence around those skills, abilities, and talents you have before you go to school. so that at the end of the day, you have something to fall back to. Thank you.
All right, so we are going to have a little redefinition, thank you very much, of school. So let's just watch this clip. It's just about a minute.
I go to schools upon schools and I speak with the students. And when I finish speaking with them, I'll say, do you have a question for me? No hand goes up. A hand is just to go up in all my encounters in Ghanaian classrooms. We have tamed the children. We just want them to write down what we tell them. On the day of exam, they should put down what we have told them and say, you are the best student the country has ever known. That kind of education system will not transform Ghana. That kind of education system is not going to give us critical thinking individuals, especially since we are in the 21st century and education is 4.0, the fourth industrial revolution. You can't memorize your way out of poverty, but you can critically think and innovate out of poverty. So Ghanaian schools, Africans will have to begin to take a serious look at what I call the assertive curriculum. A curriculum that empowers the African child to ask questions and challenge the status quo respectfully within the African cultural context. But not a curriculum that tells the African child to be quiet and don't say anything when the adult is speaking.
Okay, so now, because we need to understand what school really does. James covered some things about that. You know, school, as we know it, is you go, they teach you maths, English, teach you a couple of subjects, and then you write, you pass an exam, maybe you're top of the class and all that. But from what we just watched now, we need to redefine education. Education is beyond having the best result in your school or doing well in mathematics. Education is about interpreting the things you learn and applying them to life. It's about challenging the status quo. So, James, let me hear your thoughts on this.
Right, that's true. Education. For someone, I just thought to share this. For someone who is still in school right now, and you are thinking, okay, the ASU strike is on, I want to drop out, please don't. Don't drop out. I learned this a long time ago. Even as much as we want to criticize the Nigerian education, your degree is still your passport out of this country. No matter how you want to think about it, it's still your passport out of this country. So as much as we want to redefine the way education should be, get the one that Nigeria is giving you first. Have that certificate to prove that you went to school. If you can, get a first class. Not because you want to get a good job. I will explain later. Get a first class. If you can, get a first class. When you see the education that is obtainable outside the country, you'll be amazed. Nigerians who are struggling with 2-2, 2-1, even third class, they go abroad and they are getting first class. The reason for that is the lecturers there think differently. You can't be teaching me with a script that you used in 1967. I'm in 2021. You are still using that same script. There are some lecturers that will photocopy the old material for you. And you're asking yourself, how do you want to grow? How do you want to compete with the modern day? And when you ask the lecturers, they themselves will tell you they are not given enough resources to study. They are not taken outside for training. So it's what they have that they will give to us. And so personally, you need to start educating yourself. Educate yourself beyond what is obtainable in school. When we were in school, we just read what they taught us and then we came out. Now I'm regretting why I did that. I'm regretting why I just read what they gave me in school and left. Because if you ask me a question in my 100 level now, I don't have a clue. I can't remember it. But most of the things I learned outside school, around my classmates, around other people, those were the things that I can still remember and I can still say well. So as much as we want to criticize the education system in Nigeria, we individually need to educate ourselves. We individually need to have friends abroad in other schools. Research what they are researching. Because your competition is not with a fellow Nigerian. We need to understand that. You are not competing with a Nigerian in Ugangwe, in Ekpan. That's not who you are competing with. You are competing with a child in China. You are competing with a child in Canada. Those are the people you are competing with, not your fellow Nigerians. Because your fellow Nigerians, we are thinking of how we want to live and grow in the global space. And so education needs to be redefined from the international standard. I know here they'll tell you the curriculum is international standard, but is it really international standard? Are we really teaching international standard? It's not about speaking diction and speaking Queen's language. That's not it. It's the content. Now everybody's focused on vocabulary, how you can pronounce well, how you can sound well. That's not what matters. It's good to sound well, but what do you have in your head that you are speaking? And that's where we need to focus
All right,
on.
so critical thinking. Dami, yeah, I'm coming to you. Pastor Ode, hold on. There's a thought on Dubai, which you're going to share, but just hold on. I'll come back to you. So, Dami, critical thinking.
School, going to school, actually, there are many things they will teach you in school you don't need in your life. That's the honest truth. How many of you have done Pythagoras theory in real life outside when they taught you in school? But do you know that there's this discipline that comes with learning? Critical thinking, as in you have to think, you have to know how to learn formulas, like know the formulas, know how it applies. And that is what you actually use in the real life. Application, critical thinking. How can I solve this problem? Not necessarily maths. It can be something else in life. So school will teach you, will help your brain to be able to see a situation and be able to say, okay, how can I go around this and get results? That's one thing that school does for you. It's not necessarily what they actually teach you. Many of us do not even practice the things that we study in school anyway. But the school thing, and if you look at it in the real day, school will help you to plan your, assuming you're a business person, school will help you to know how to do your business. Keep your books. There are some things you will learn in school. You will need it when you start to work, when you start to have a career, when you start to run a business. Bookkeeping is very important. Accounting, you will know it. If you want to deal with your customers now, there's a difference in somebody that actually went to school, running a business, and someone that actually just started running the business. There's a polite way you deal with your customers. There's a way you handle situations that a usual person that did not go to school would not. So school is not a scam in any way. Trust me. If you want to even compete in the outside, like James was saying, how do you say you did not go to school? Like many people will tell you, Bill Gates dropped out of school. Zuckerberg did not come to school. Hello. Do you know the school they went to? And do you know what they are still studying right now? So school is not primary 1, primary 2, primary 3, but your school can be different. Abroad, you have school for dancers. You have school for different things. But find yourself, know what you want, and go with it. School will teach you a lot of things that you apply in your life.
All right, so what we're saying is that school, as it were, is not just about the four walls of a classroom. School is not limited to the four walls of a classroom. School is about expanding your mind. It's about the process of learning new things, interacting with people. So when you go to school, just like you said, Dami, aside critical thinking, you also make contacts in school. You make friends in school. Now, there are friends I made in school who are very instrumental to me doing a lot of things today now. If I were in one motor park somewhere, the quality of people I will meet are different from the quality of people I will meet in a university. So, school is not just what they teach you. School is what you also get out of that environment and then apply in real life. So, William, someone was telling me that the person went to school abroad and then asked the professor, says, sir, do we need to cram all these formulas? You know, we do that a lot in Nigeria, we cram. And then the professor said, no, you don't need to cram. Now I said, okay, so where am I going to get the formula? How am I going to solve? He said, don't worry. I'm going to give you a clean sheet with all the formulas you will need to solve the problem. So school is not as difficult as they make us think here, because we have to sit down on the floor. We have to stay with 1,000 people with no sound system. The lecturer comes and tells you that A is for God, B is for me, C is for those of you that try, and D is for, all those kind of things. Did you have that kind of experience in school?
Yes, I had those kinds of experience in my school. Part of the experience were what you just shared. We had to cram formulas. We had to mastermind formulas for us to get to the top. Imagine, I could remember in my days, I read 24 hours. I had to store formulas, I have to memorize. You have to recite. So these are stuffs we pass through, we face, we have to install in us as regards the Nigerian system of schooling. But aside this, doing this helps to, it helps us personally. It helps to sharpen our mind. If you have this ability to recite, you recite offhand, you you install, it expands your memory. So these things you see they do to us in school, it has a good side. It also has the bad side.
Okay, so our memory has been expanded. So now, going forward as a nation, what we're trying to say is that if you want to change a society, you invest in educating the people. Mass investment. Now, schools have been on strike for about 8 months. Students have been out of school. It tells where our priorities are as a nation. You want to change the people, like someone was saying yesterday. Singapore was a poor nation, and someone came and took over the nation and invested in entrepreneurial education. One invested in the minds of the people, taught them education, taught them the way they want to go. So if we want to move forward as a nation, we need to change a lot of things. So, sir, your thoughts on Dubai and Nigeria?
Okay, my thoughts are that for us to change the current trend, there must be a kind of paradigm shift from what we value now. The system has to change. And our education and our educational sector to change, it has to start from homes. Most parents, in quotes, when their children are going to school, they will tell the teachers, touch not my anointed child. In those days, teachers are part of agent of socializing a child, inculcating culture and values and virtues of the society to the children. But now, teachers can flog children because they are anointed child of their parents. We need to open our mind and allow the school to do what they are supposed to do. Then we should have a leadership that should give direction to the nation. Like in United Arab Emirates, one of their leaders, one Khalifa, one of the years, he made it a national year for reading. And the child that read the highest books were given national honor and a lot of gifts, rewards, scholarships. Nigeria can still change if we have a good leader. I want the youths here to know that there is still hope in Nigeria if we have good direction. Doing Yahoo Yahoo is not the way. 419 is not the way. Ritualist is not the way. Different vices that you are seeing now, it's not the way. It will not last long. Be committed to your education. If you are educated, there is nothing you cannot become. Education makes you to be bold. It gives you that critical thinking and solving ability. Education socializes you, makes you to mix up well. If you want to say crayfish as an educated person, you will do it better than who did not go to school. If an educated person open a salon, she will run it better than person that did not go to school. So going to school is still the best, our youths. If anybody is telling you that education is a scam, don't go to school. You have to shift your mind away from that person. School, education is the key to every success in life.
All right, thank you. So, James, yes, you're going to talk about this. Last word now. I want you to speak to people who probably cannot afford education as it is, going to a formal school. Can you say something to them about courses they can do online and all that?
First off, one thing you want to know is if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. It's more expensive than education. If you can, right? If you can, aspire to go to the best schools where you can. Pastor talked about connections with friends. If I knew what I know now, I probably would not go to the school I went to. Not because the school is bad, but because I know the kind of people I'll meet in that school is different. If you are honest, check the people that are thriving today, especially young people. They are from a particular school. It is deliberate. Check it. Any successful person you are seeing now, between the ages of 30 to 40, they are from a particular school. It was intentional. So even if you cannot afford it, there is a school that everybody have access to. University of YouTube. It's available to every single person. Anything you want to learn in this life, even your calculus that they're teaching you in school, you can get it on YouTube. So gone are the days where you say, I don't have money to go to school. If you can subscribe your data, you have enough resources to go to school. I know someone that trained himself from YouTube. He didn't go to school one day. He trained himself from YouTube. He got certifications from those online courses, and those are the things that he's using to work today. So gone are the days where you have to go to a 4-word school. Yes, there's some level you want to go to that require a university certificate. But even with the technology, YouTube is a place you can go. E-learning platforms are places you can go. Coursera is a place you can go. You just invest a little fee and you can get certificates that you can use to contend with international standard. So gone are the days where you want to tell yourself, they did not send me to school. I don't have money to pay school fees. We understand that education is expensive. In fact, Nigeria education is even cheaper than some other countries. As much as we are complaining like this, it's even cheaper than some other countries. Someone gave me a breakdown yesterday. He said, the country will give you loan to go to school. When you finish the school, they will give you job to do. But every single month, they'll be deducting that money till you die. Right? They'll be deducting that money till you die until you can clear up that loan. So as much as that might be harsh, it helps you go to school. So we, now that we are affording to pay for what we can do, when you cannot pay, go to online courses. It's free sometimes. You pay a little fee, and you can thrive with that as well.
All right. So, Williams, your last word for the young person.
My last words for young people like me, I would advise you, like I earlier said, I advise you discover yourself first. You discover yourself, you know your potentials, know your abilities, build competence around those abilities before you go to the higher institution. Though school is not a scam, that is the fact. School is not a scam. School gives you, is one of the widest social group a young person could find himself or herself. It gives you a platform for you to improve yourself, to become a better version of yourself. You meet people, like my colleague had earlier said, school, the kind of people you meet in school is different from those you meet in the marketplace. You understand? The kind of people you meet in school, they are different from those persons you meet even in the church. So the school gives you an opportunity to meet people who sharpen you. So please discover yourself, know yourself, build competence around yourself, build your skills. If you want to be a musician, please, I beg you, build your skills now before you get to school. Because when you get to school, there will be a lot of opportunity that will bounce on you, that if you don't build competence, you'll be frustrated. Instead of building your career while in school, you have to just focus in academics. So that's my advice for the young people.
Thank you. So, Dami, your last word.
School is not a scam. Go to school. And let the school pass through you. Now, when we say go to school, we are not just saying go pass 101, pass 102, pass 103. Experience school. Network. Trust me, there are many people that today they may not look like it, but tomorrow they may be of great help to you. Network, make good relationships. Learn what you can learn. Learn outside your class. Learn social skills. You will learn a lot. When you go to school, you'll be open to a lot of things. And when you come out of school, you will realize that you may not actually use that particular thing, but you will see other realities that you will need it. Networking. I know someone that when she started her business, all she needed to do was just first of all send a message to her classmates. They may not need the service, but they started to refer her to other people. Today, she's a big madam. But how did she do this? She started from school. So school will help you. School will open your eyes to a lot of things. School is not a scam.
All right. So I believe we've learned. Okay. Oh, I thought you did. All right. So last word, sir.
Okay. My last words, my advice is to parents, really. Because the best legacy you can leave for your children is education. You can build houses everywhere. When they grow up, those houses will become obsolete. They will sell them. Give them the basic education. Encourage them to go to school. It will help them to live a better life. If you can invest in their education, with that education, they can become anything they will be in their life. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So what we're saying, or what we have said in summary, Nigeria got here because we lost it in some areas. You know, we stopped focusing in things of value like education. Now, if we must change our narrative right now, if we must change our story, say the next 5 years, I challenge every one of us to start investing in education, personal education. You might go to a formal school, you might have the privilege, or you might not. if you don't have a privilege to go to a formal school, then invest in the courses, just like James said. Go to YouTube, go to Google. You can learn anything you want to learn. I want to challenge us, every one of us. Probably you never thought of it. Let's invest in rewarding excellence in education. How many of us, for instance, have said, okay, I'm going to give a check for the best student in mathematics, or for the best student in English, or for the best overall student? We can do it. We spend a lot of money on several things. He said they give 100,000 naira at PTI for first class. We can start it from your children's school. Okay, I want to give 20,000 or 10,000. I want to donate books to the best graduating student of that class. When we start that, we begin to create that desire within children to know that education is indeed something that can be rewarded. I pray that God helps us as a nation as we invest in education. God bless you. Thank you.